Welcome back to the channel. I just have a quick reading for you guys this morning. I've been pulling cards. I did another reading too. It feels intertwined. It feels connected. But there's something in me that doesn't even want to focus on that reading. It's like we need to separate from that version of you. That reading was for Divine Feminine. It was about stopping drinking or cutting out those that have drinking problems or something like that. And it feels like when you separate from that energy, this is what comes next. Now, for some of you, this could be the start of that because that sounds familiar. Like that's what I did in the past. Or I feel like there's some kind of healing in these videos too that goes towards alcoholic tendencies or the effect of people in your life who were alcoholics in the past or something like that. So there's some healing here and some cord cutting that's happening through these readings. 111 on my recording. To help you sever ties with the effect that those people had on you or the tendencies in you to attract others who are like that. Like, let's say your dad was an alcoholic when you were younger. And there's a real imprint of how that affected you. For some of you, it plays out like you subconsciously seek people who drink because when they do, they're able to express themselves. Because they're emotionally unavailable otherwise, but when they drink, they're able to express themselves. Because that was what your dad used to do. There's healing in these videos right now. And I do feel like this one is connected to that one. So if that interests you, if that sounds familiar to you, it doesn't have to be dad. It could just be, it does feel like a masculine energy. So it could be, I'm seeing like someone's babysitter or someone's uncle or something like that. Also mother, just more of a masculine energy. Could be a woman, obviously. So there's healing in these. So if that resonates with you, maybe go back and watch the other one. It's a Divine Feminine reading. I haven't posted it yet, so I'm not sure what it's going to be called, but I have this hat on too. It was right before this. Now, there is something coming up for you. There is a new opportunity to create something new. I see the beach as literal. Like manifesting that beach house that you always wanted. That's very bold. It's very big. But for some of you, it's like creating, you talk about having a beach house or something like that, but it is a real thing and it can be a real thing. For others of you, there's this feeling that you get being at the beach. There's something that is coming to fruition soon. August. That has the possibility to come to fruition. If you can heal the aspect of this wound, or recognize when that wound is in play, like I was just talking about, and it was expressed in that last video too. So when you come into a creative space and you are in the flow, that wound pops up, the one that's in your sacral chakra, the place of creation. Just witnessing where that has come in your life. Someone, when you are in the process of creating something, someone steps in, a certain archetype, someone steps in to take you down a notch, to drain you of your energy, to take advantage, to be like, I want a piece of that. Got to recognize when that energy comes in. For some of you, it's a woman that steps in. It's like your best friend is always stepping up because she can feel that you are in your flow and she needs to ride your coattails. Or take advantage of that. But it's like only then. There's no feedback. There's no... It's like what I see here. There's something that you have been working on or dreaming of or create. Like they're showing me this deck of cards that I had an idea for like a long time ago that I just never pursued. It's almost like the opportunity for that, something from a couple of years ago, something that you've put on the back burner. This is like a side project. This is not necessarily like something in your everyday life, like your everyday job. This is like a passion project or something like that. That actually is going to bring you money. But it's something that you used to put energy towards and you kind of put it on the back burner. Like you've never really created the steps or taken the steps to like actually having it come together. Like it was always a pipe dream or something like that. They're telling you right now, this is not a pipe dream. There is something in the back of your mind that says, I could never do that. Do you see the way that she's whispering to him? She's not good enough. This is like subconscious energy that has been blocking this. This fear card came out in reverse. It's like, that voice is not yours. The voice says that when you are in your light, people will take advantage of you. There are those people who, when you are empowered and in your just like passionate sacral energy, there are people who step in who want to take advantage. There's a difference though. You're aware that that voice is happening in the background. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. You like always compare yourself to other people, and it attracts other people who compare you to other people too. You have to know that what you have to offer, the aspect of you that makes you you, puts a spin on, like they keep using the cards as an example, like a deck of cards. There's a million different, like I have 70 decks of cards. But I always say that they all have different personalities. I bought this one because this one had a certain energy to it. The creator, that's their energy in these cards. They're not like any others. So no matter how many decks of cards there are out there, yours is going to have its own aspect to it. So you can't compare it to these cards. Look at how different they are. They're so different. Look at that card, this Five of Pentacles. No coincidence that one came out. Just this place of lack. There is a real sense of lack that this inner voice has been holding you to. So you have a real opportunity coming up if you can figure out what they're saying. What is she saying? What is this limiting belief? What is she saying? You're a fool? I'm hearing a song. You're a fool to think. You're a fool to think that you could be anything more than what you are. You're a fool to... Wow, that's weird. You're a fool to think that you could be anything more than what you are. What you are right now, complete failure. She's going to fail. It's going to fail. You're going to fail. You're a failure. That's what I'm hearing. You're a fool. And I see this Five of Wands came out too. It came out in reverse. You don't realize where the battle is. You're looking outside yourself. The battle is inside of you. This is not other people talking about you, though there probably are other people talking about you. That's just a reflection. This is all inside your head. 10:10 on my recording. Time to stop the negative self-talk. You don't even realize that you're talking negatively about yourself. There are other people talking about you too, though, because of this failure. Just like, what do they even have? What does she even have going for her? So there's this feeling of being a failure, not it being too late, that it's too late. It's too late to succeed. It's too late to succeed. There's this real energy of feeling like a failure, feeling like you wasted time. So this card came out in reverse. Not realizing where your fear is. What are you really afraid of? When the idea of success, or like creating something that's just you, it's like you have to put yourself out there. You have to put your energy out there. But what you would be putting out there at this point, without recognizing where the holdup is, you're putting out the energy of failure. So in the meantime, until then, I'm really seeing August by Lionsgate. You have the opportunity to witness. So this inner voice, this inner child is saying, you're a failure. You're going to fail. You're always going to fail. Because anytime this creative spark happens, something comes in, knocks it down. Something steps up from inside of you and knocks it down. There's the proof. There's the proof. See, that failed. I can't follow through with that. Can't follow through with that. Can't follow through with that. I'm always just going to fail. There's a fear. So the fear of failure is always going to hold you back from being able to follow through on your dreams. It's the fear of failure. Okay, so that's what you're facing right now. Fear of failure. Ooh, I like that. There's something on this deception card. Look at that spark in her heart space. There's something more there that can override that voice. When you're coming from your heart. It's the measure of success. That's what the problem is. You think that you have this fear of failing in someone else's eyes because their measure of success is, did it make a ton of money? I've had this going on with my daughter the last week too. Like, she compares herself to other people, and unless she places first or second or like places at all in this competition that she's in, she thinks that she's going to fail. But she doesn't quite have the experience that other people do. So the measure of success is, to her and to all those other people within this competition, you succeed if you place in a certain way. And I told her, like, just shift her perspective a little bit. Like, what if your goal was you succeeded because you learned from the experience, because the value that you took from it was not necessarily placing, and that's the only way that you felt like you were going to succeed. You succeeded by gaining knowledge in that arena, like watching the way that other people who did place were competing, or like what their presentation looked like, and you taking notes from that and like having it be a serious learning experience. For some of you, it's like going back to school or something. Like, well, if I went back to school, like what would I do, and how would that become a job? Instead of like having the measure of like a successful education leads to a job that makes a ton of money. What if a successful education is the result of you having learned something that has nothing to do with anything else except that you loved it and you gained the knowledge? So the schooling, the education wasn't necessarily just about leading to a job that makes a lot of money. It was about gaining the knowledge, learning the thing. How does it get applied? Is that the most important thing right now? Maybe it will be down the line, but the most important thing is the education that you learned it. Like, shift your goalposts almost. So if I created that deck of cards, and it was a success because I learned how to do the process, or like I just got to use it on here just for you guys, and you know, whether I sold one or didn't sell one, just the creation process itself, going from point A to point B, filled me with even more light, then total success. So this voice, the fear of failure, is tricking you because you're basing your idea of success off of what other people see as a success. You get to decide what's a success. So sometimes a failure is a success too, because you learned from it. So you actually don't even really fail, ever. Like when you were to fail a test, if you were in an aware place, and you failed a test, and you could go back and look at what you did wrong or where the mistake was made, and learn from that process and repeat it, or take the test again, or apply that knowledge to the next time that you were to do a problem like that. It's like, oh, right there, right in that, like when I showed my work, this is always the spot where I forget the negative sign or something like that. And when you recognize why you do that, why do I keep forgetting that negative sign? And seeking help on it, even really like asking someone who is an expert, why do I keep forgetting that negative sign? And they're like, oh, probably because you're like not flipping the equation around like this. Remember, where you have to do it this way, and then it clicks. It's going to connect you with other people. The exploration process, the trying it out. That process is going to help you to meet other people that are going to help you along the way. So every time you screw up, I tell my students that in the car too. I'm like, don't be afraid. Don't apologize for doing something wrong, or like turning the wheel the wrong way or something like that. Like every time that you screw up, I know what I need to work on more with you. Because I have the techniques to be able to see why you're doing what you're doing, and help you to improve that. It's never a failure. It's always like this improving process. So if you can shift that in your brain, you have a real opportunity coming up for a creative project. I think that you're not supposed to do it yourself. You are supposed to seek help from someone who has done this before. So if you are looking to take a course, or there's something or someone who has let's just use the cards for an example. Someone who has created a deck of cards or a couple of decks of cards. They went through a process of elimination and what works and what doesn't work and blah, blah, blah. And, maybe you buy those cards and you're inspired by and affected by the influence that was imbued in those cards. But also, it may be that I'm looking at MJ from Soulful Revolution, she has courses in entrepreneurship as a spiritual leader and stuff like that, and spiritual entrepreneur. There's courses on how to read cards and blah, blah, blah. When you tune into the energy of that and gain the knowledge of someone who's been through all of those things, who's been through the process, and then try and then just do, I think you're going to notice so many different places where you just gave up because it wasn't the right measure of success. It's like tuning into someone who just kept going. They kept going, and they kept going, and they kept going, and they kept going. How many times does it take to fail? It's never a failure if you learn something from it. If you take the time to look at it and find the value in it. What did I learn from that? What did I learn from that? What did I learn from that? I'm always about learning. I'm always about growing. Where does the fear of failure come from? It comes from ridicule. It comes from people making fun of you. It comes from this battle inside of you that says I'm not good enough. But even though you didn't get that part in the play, the part that you did get, just another example. My daughter was in The Lion King and tried out for Nala or Rafiki or Timon or whatever, but she really wanted Nala because it's the lead role. She wants a lead role. And it's happened in a bunch of different plays. And I'm like, you just have to trust the directors because they know they always, put you and can see something in you. And they put you in the role that's perfect for you because you offer this thing that is different than what anybody else offers. And there's a role for that, even if it's not the lead role. She ended up getting Rafiki in Lion King, which is one of the main roles too, but it's not in the show as much as some of the other roles are. She rocked the shit out of it. She, and so many people said, she stole the show. She just became the essence of, because it was in her, and the directors knew that. There's another play too where she was the narrator and didn't have any singing roles except at the end of the show, and she was upset about not having a singing role, but the narrator is the one who guided and set the pace and the tone for the entire show, and no one else could have done it except for her. Was it a lead role? I mean, in its own way. She didn't realize that it was, but everybody said she stole the show. That show would not have been the same without the guidance and the poise and the grace and the presence, her presence. She brings something different to it that nobody else does. Did she fail because she didn't get the lead role? It could have been that her audition she kind of failed in the audition, but it led to something really amazing anyway. And being in the ensemble of a play gives you such an amazing learning experience where you're working on your dance and you're working on your harmonies and you're working on your voice in a way that only on the ensemble can do, because that's the role that they play. But it is still building your experience and leading to something else and something else and something else. None of that was a failure if you can learn from it. And always by the end of the play, she is so happy with where she ended up and what the experience was. Right? So this fear of failure is not yours. you're going to fail. You're going to fail. You're going to fail. That voice is not yours. Okay? So it's like this opportunity here. We have to override this and know in your heart that every experience is valuable in its own way. Even if I fail, I know what to do better the next time, or I know what to do differently the next time. We're always learning. You don't know all the things. No one knows all the things. How do you succeed at life? How do you succeed as a person? We're on this quest of, we are always learning and growing. When you know all the things there is ever to know in the history of ever, you're going to die. You're going to be dead. You're just going to be pure consciousness at that point. When you're conscious of all the things, you then have become straight up consciousness, and you're not in a human body anymore. So the process, we are always learning. Okay? So those voices, that's not yours. That's not yours. Someone doesn't think that you're good enough, or you're not successful enough, or you don't make enough money to, be with them or be around them, or for them to take you seriously. That's them. That's on them. Their measure of success is different than yours. You need to find your measure of success. What feels successful? And then go after it. Take this and go after it. You have to go after something. You have to go after something. When you decide what that is, it is going to come into fruition. Right now, it's July 9th, just as a reference. By August, in a month. And I'm seeing 8-8. Like the energy of the Lionsgate portal has been building and is building. So use this energy. Use the build. And forget those voices. Even if I fail, I will have learned something. So I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. Put that voice. That voice is coming from a place from when you were 7 years old. For some of you, it's from when you were 7 years old, that fear of failure. You dropped that ball or something like that. Don't forget about all of the really amazing things that you have done. And when you dropped the ball, you learned. You got muscle memory. Figured out how to do it because of that mistake. Or because of that, whatever, that loss, that failure, whatever. Okay, not good enough, not good enough, not good enough. It's time to reprogram, reprocess those things. Nothing is a failure, okay? Let's go. Let me know what it is. Let me know what it is that you're creating. And if you want to figure out, if you need help reprogramming these voices, I have a really amazing Reiki experience that I can do for that. There's also, like I said, healing in these videos. So just set the intention to absorb that and to allow the holy fire to work in the background for you. If you want to do a personal one, or if you even, want me to put a group healing together, let me know down in the comments. Email me. All my information is in the box below. You want to do a private reading, private healing. Let's go, because your creation is important to this collective environment. I need your creation. It's important for my growth, and you need mine too. Okay? Love you.